Let's dive right into this guidance explainer, acting as your essential reality check for the 2025 landscape in New Zealand. If you've been dreaming of packing up your entire life and moving to the land of the Kiwis, let me tell you, you are definitely not alone. Since the pandemic, New Zealand has become this incredibly desirable destination. We're talking huge interest not just from folks in India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, but surprisingly, even from people trying to leave the US and the UK. But here's the thing, the landscape has shifted, and I mean dramatically. Today, we're going to look closely at the data and first-hand experiences to separate the fantasy from the absolute ground reality of 2025.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start by exploring exactly why the Kiwi dream is so appealing. Then we'll hit you with a much-needed reality check for 2025. After that, we'll figure out who should actually be making the move right now, and wrap up with a strict step-by-step guidance protocol.
We actually have to start with this absolutely crucial warning straight from our source material. Translated, it emphatically states, do not come here without research and planning. And honestly, that's the core thesis of our explainer today. The economic situation and the job market have changed so much by 2025 that I'll just figure it out when I land attitude, it simply won't work anymore. You literally need a bulletproof plan.
So, let's kick things off with Section 1 and understand why New Zealand remains such a magnet for expats worldwide.
Now, what's really interesting here is the stark contrast in stability. Think about places like the US to the UK. You could spend a decade there, building a whole life, only to be told you have to leave because of visa complications. It's a nightmare. But New Zealand? It offers a super clear, almost guaranteed pathway to permanent residency and citizenship. Once you put in a few years and meet the requirements, your PR is practically locked in. It gives you this incredible peace of mind knowing your future is actually secure.
And the lifestyle benefits? They are massive. Once you're a resident, you get free government-funded healthcare. The education system is super practical, way more focused on real research than just burying your head in a textbook. But honestly, the biggest draw for a lot of people is the work-life balance. A 9-to-5 job strictly means 9 to 5. When the clock hits 5, you go home. There's no pressure to stay late just because your boss is still there, and the whole toxic office politics thing just isn't part of the culture. Add in the absolutely pristine air, which is a huge relief if you're used to that thick winter smog in regions like the NCR, and the fact that you can actually live in spacious houses with your own private garden, it's easy to see why this dream is so potent. Plus, earning in New Zealand dollars while saving for your future back home is a pretty sweet financial setup.
Okay, but here's where we pivot to Section 2. It's time for the 2025 reality check, because the economy has slowed down and costs have absolutely skyrocketed.
To put the current job market into perspective, look at this. Before 2023, if you lost your job or just wanted to change a pace, you could confidently expect to find a new role in about 2 to 4 weeks. No big deal. But today, the economy has cooled way down. Even citizens and permanent residents are now waiting up to 3 or 4 months just to switch jobs. You need to be financially and mentally braced for a much longer gap. The jobs are still out there for sure, but securing them takes way more time, and your skills need to align perfectly with what employers are looking for.
And then there's this shocking number. You need to be prepared to pay $200 to $250 just to rent a single room in a shared 5-bedroom house. And yes, you heard that right, that's per week. In New Zealand, rent is calculated and paid weekly. If you're willing to commute from the distant suburbs, you might find a tiny room for around $150 a week. But either way, housing costs are going to take a massive bite right out of your paycheck.
Let's actually break down the whole budget, keeping in mind that these costs require incredibly strict financial planning. Groceries alone, they'll set you back $250 to $300 a month, and guys, that is assuming you are being super frugal and cooking every single meal at home. Then you add in the utility bills, power can get crazy expensive, especially during those freezing winter months, along with your phone plan and commute. The cost of living is exceptionally high right now, and you absolutely have to factor all of this into your financial safety net before you even think about booking a flight.
Also, you know how sometimes back in India you can get paperwork sorted out pretty quickly if you know the right people or just push hard enough? Yeah, you cannot expect that kind of quick accessibility here. You have to be exceptionally patient and work strictly by appointments. The bureaucracy in New Zealand moves at its own pace, and it will test your blood pressure. A completely routine passport renewal can easily take anywhere from 3 to 6 months. You really just have to learn to go with the flow and book everything well in advance.
And here is something people rarely talk about. You have to seriously ask yourself, are you mentally ready for the depressing, rainy winters? Moving to a new country isn't just about the money, it's a massive emotional hurdle. In the summer, sure, it's easy to be outdoors, meet locals, and stay busy. But Kiwi winters can be relentlessly wet, cold, and dark. If you've just arrived and you haven't managed to build a strong social circle yet, that weather is going to make you feel incredibly isolated. You need to be mentally braced for that initial loneliness. Okay, moving on to Section 3. With all those tough economic headwinds, who should actually still consider moving right now?
Enter the green list. This is basically New Zealand's cheat code for immigration right now. If your degree or profession aligns with the green list, your path to securing PR is incredibly straightforward. It's a list of specific professions facing severe labor shortages. So, if you're a STEM professional, meaning science, tech, mechanical, or engineering, there are active jobs practically waiting for you. Being on this list grants you a work-to-residency visa, meaning your path to permanent residency is heavily expedited compared to anyone else.
But here's the real kicker. You absolutely don't need a fancy university degree to succeed. Experienced trade workers are in massive demand. If you have deep practical experience as a car mechanic, a plumber, or in construction, New Zealand desperately wants you. These roles are incredibly lucrative right now. You can literally make just as much, if not more, than someone sitting in a corporate office in Auckland. The demand for skilled, hands-on workers is absolutely booming.
Which brings us to our final section, the exact strict protocol you need to follow to make this a smart move.
The crucial takeaway here is this exact sequence. Do not, I repeat, do not board a plane with the hope of figuring things out when you land. First, do your due diligence. Research your specific industry and see if there's actual demand for your exact skill set in 2025. Second, put together a highly professional CV and a tailored cover letter and start applying. You must secure a firm job offer first. Only after you have that job security in hand do you finally book your ticket and fly. The era of just arriving with a flexible attitude is officially over. You've got to be completely prepared.
So, I'll leave you with this provocative thought to wrap up our explainer today. Make sure you are navigating the reality of 2025 and not just blindly chasing the Kiwi dream. New Zealand offers an absolutely beautiful, balanced, and secure life for sure, but it only offers that to people who respect the current economic climate and plan meticulously. Take the time to do your homework, upgrade your skills if you have to, and ensure your move is a calculated success rather than an expensive gamble. Thanks so much for joining me today, and keep learning.